Sup? So, I've been trying to wrap my mind around this concept that the universe doesn't have an edge. It seems straightforward enough to simply say the universe has no edge. It actually, I remember when I was kind of studying the subject, and I learned that the idea that at one point in history, well, not history, at one point time didn't exist, and it took me about 4 years before I could really grasp the concept that before there were objects in motion, before there was any source of light, before anything was moving, there wasn't time, because time is the measurement of the movement of something, anything. You can pick anything, but the movement of something through space, or just movement in general. Time is a measurement of movement, and before there was anything to be moving, there wasn't even time. You can't even say before time, because before is a unit of time. So there was there was once an absence of time, and it's something that I understand and I accept it now, but I still can't even really put it into words. And so now, if you watch YouTube, if you're familiar with the Vlog Brothers, so Hank, he puts out there about how the universe has no edge, and that's how mind blowing that is. And I'm still having trouble grasping the concept, because here's the thing: is that I'm no scientist, and I can't claim to be any kind of intelligent at all. But I feel like there's a problem with the definition of the universe. What is the universe? If it is the matter and energy that began moving at the Big Bang, and that's if we want to assume that the Big Bang is true, I'm inclined to believe it. So before there's not vocabulary to say this, so I just have to use words that are flawed in their essence, and that's a problem to begin with. I need to invent a new language to be able to talk about what I'm talking about. So before in the absence of time, in the absence of matter, in the absence of space, there must have been this void of nothingness, this endless abyss of just emptiness that myself, I am a thing of substance. I'm never going to be able to fully comprehend absolute nothingness. But by default, if, say, just for sake of argument, that there's this one universe that we're in, and there's just one, okay? That would make us the first one. This is the first universe. It's the only one that we know of. If there's more, they are inconsequential to what I'm talking about now. Let's just say the one that we're in is the first one. By the very nature, by the definition of the word first, that means that there had to be a period of a point before the first. I mean, for there to be a first, there had to at some point be none. So it's 0 and 1. And so here we have the universe, and we know the universe is here because if it wasn't here, we wouldn't even be in it to be able to discuss it. The nature of it is definitely up for debate, but while we are sitting in it, obviously it is here because we see it. We are part of it. So We're not going to argue that point at the moment. But so here is this one universe that we're in, and beyond it has to be this nothingness that was the nothingness that was there before it. Before the one, there was none, so there's this one floating in a sea of none. There might be more, but we don't know that yet, if we ever will. But as far as we know, there's this one universe floating in a sea of nothingness, and it seems to me that whatever we define as the universe, beyond the edge of that definition of the universe will be an absence of that definition. So if we say that it's physical, if it's matter, if we want to say that it's energy, if we want to say that it's a particle of a particle of a quark, whatever we want to say is this is a piece of the universe. When we say universe, this thing is a portion of it. Then there is going to be, eventually, even if it is 14 billion light years away, eventually there is going to be a place where you got the last little particle of a quark, and then beyond that there isn't anything else. So we say that little last particle of a quark is the edge of the universe. I'm not seeing how there can't be an edge. It's really far away and we're never going to get there. I think there's a flaw in thinking that the nothingness that the universe floats in is also part of the universe. So if you want to continue to think that the empty space is the universe, then sure, there's no edge, because that emptiness is going to go on in a measurable way that our physical minds are never going to be able to really. We can't comprehend nothingness. We are a thing. We are plus one, so we can't be zero until we die. And then once you die, you'll have all the answers then, or not. But, until you become zero, you can't comprehend zero. As long as you are plus one, you will think as plus one, and you won't be able to grasp zero, nothingness. But it seems to me logically inescapable. It's an unavoidable fact that beyond something there must be nothing, and for that to be true, there is a place where the somethingness, there is no more something beyond a certain place, and I think that is the place that we should call the edge. And then we have the concept of the universe. This plus one universe is expanding. How do you determine that a thing is expanding if beyond it there is nothing else that it is expanding towards? It seems to me that a thing floating in a sea of nothingness that expands, you would change the size of the ruler to compensate for the expansion, so it would never actually grow. It would always be this static point. If it was shrinking, the ruler would shrink. If it was expanding, the ruler would expand. You can't measure it because there's nothing outside of it that it's growing towards or shrinking from. Anyway, I think about that sometimes. Now you can think about it too, and if you have any thoughts that you'd like to share with me, I would be glad to hear them. And that would be great. Take care of yourselves.